I love this guy. I don't care who knows it. I enjoy our conversations. He always shoots it straight whenever I chat with him. And he's back here on the Rich Eisen Show with his Tampa Bay Buccaneers getting set to take on the Rams on Monday Night Football after dismantling Carolina. A nice bounce-back victory for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Head coach Bruce Arians back here on the show. How are you, Coach?
Doing great, Rich. How you doing, buddy?
I am better for talking to you. All right, you are now 10 weeks into the season. Have you learned anything about Tom Brady that you did not know about in these 10 weeks? Anything?
A lot. And
Okay.
I think the biggest thing and how great a job he does with young players. You know, he's like having another coach out there. You know, I'll tell a kid to do something and, hey, pump your arms on this. And I got to tell him 5 times. Tom said, hey, can you pump your arms on it? Oh, yeah, sure.
Interesting. So it's like the parent that doesn't get heard, but the peer gets heard, pretty much, in terms of.
No doubt. And when he speaks, they all listen and all like little puppies. So it's been great. Unbelievable competitor, and love everything about him.
What do you say to somebody like Brady after the loss you had against the Saints? Because in terms of being unprecedented, I mean, you usually don't get beat like that either yourself, but he's never been swept by a division opponent before, and he's 20 years in. What do you as a coach say to somebody like Brady after something like that?
I just go look at the tape and figure out why. You know, he's kind of like me. He's gonna watch it that night and or the early next morning and get to it right away. So get the answers and hope and pray we get a chance to play him again.
Well, that would be a third time around, obviously, and then your team moved on very well against Carolina. My colleague Kurt Warner looks at the tape, looks at the film of your offense, and says Brady still doesn't look comfortable, completely comfortable. Would you agree with an assessment like that, Coach?
Oh, totally. I mean, each and every week it's a learning experience of what Byron and I know, what he knows, and meshing them all together against a new opponent every single week. We're finally starting to have the same players out there with him. As far as receivers, we had a little bit of different offensive line this week for the first time, but it's been a learning experience, and it is every week. You know, having no off season, no preseason games, and all that really set us back.
So when do you think that comfort level hits? I mean, there's only so much runway left in this regular season, Coach.
Probably next spring, when we're all really comfortable.
No kidding. So that you basically have to deal with that for the rest of the season in that regard, huh?
I think so. Yeah. Now we should be better when we play a team second time around, which we weren't. We were good against the Panthers. We were terrible against the Saints. We haven't played the Falcons yet. So when you play them the second time, it should be a little bit easier. This time it was way off. It was horrible.
Bruce Arians here on the Rich Eisen Show. And then you've added a new receiver, and not just anybody. It's Antonio Brown. Were you look? The off the field stuff is the off the field stuff, and I do want to ask you about that in a minute. But put a pin in that. And ask you just the idea that you're trying to get comfortable in offense. You're adding somebody new. Was there any hesitancy on that front just to begin with, Coach?
Well, yeah, basically back in the spring was no. In the fall it was no, and then when Mike was down and then Chris was down, and you're losing Pro Bowl players, and there's a Pro Bowl player available after week 8, you pretty much owe it to the rest of your players. And you know me, I'm gonna ask all my veteran guys, do you want this guy on our team? And that, to a man, yes, sir. Well, we think he's going to help us win for sure. And he's been great since he's been here, and he knows the rules we put down, and he's been fantastic so far.
Well, and again, you're just in terms of Brown and what he brings to the team offensively. That's one thing. I do want to ask you this, Bruce, because I know one of the things that you have been all about is women's issues, and you haven't just talked the talk. You've walked the walk. You have brought women into football in a way that other coaches don't. And some women's groups were wondering why you would bring Antonio Brown in. Have you had conversations with anybody on that front? And what would you say to them about that?
Yeah, I've answered that one a few times, Rich, and it's, trust me. I mean, I think what you said, the record of how I've pioneered for them. Just trust me in the fact that I'm going to give this guy this chance, and it's just a chance, and let all that handle itself in the courts. And all I can ask him to do is trust me on it.
Bruce Arians here on the Rich Eisen Show. So about this team on Monday night, this is one I didn't see coming in terms of storylines for the 2020 season, that the Bucs have trouble playing at night, and it's something you as a coach need to address. I didn't see that one coming. Is there an issue with your team playing at night, Coach?
It has been so far. It really has been so far, so we can't dodge it. We've gotten off to terrible starts in all three night games so far, and we're going to change some things up, practice at night, do some more stuff Monday morning than we have been to hopefully get off to a fast start. You know, it's when you're playing Monday Night Football, you come to the stadium expecting all this excitement, and you walk into the Meadowlands and there's not a soul there, and it's almost a letdown. So we've got to figure out ways. Same thing in Chicago. You're going to Soldier Field, and there's not. It's just you and the other team. So you got to build that up yourself. We have a few fans here, and I thought that would help us. It didn't against New Orleans. We got to a very slow start. So, yeah, we got to try something different.
What are you going to try? What are you putting into place that maybe you're
We're Friday and Saturday night, we're practicing at game time so that we get used to that. And then Monday mornings, we'll get up, do some light exercise stuff, and have some meetings, and hopefully kill some of that day. You know, Sunday night football, you watch games all day, but
right.
Monday night, it's soap operas and taking naps and just getting ready.
Right. So, I mean, have you ever experienced this with a team? Obviously, you mentioned empty stadiums as an issue. Clearly, that's never happened before. But have you ever, in any of your days, college, pro, seen a team that might have an issue with a night game? Have you seen that before?
Our first year in Arizona, when teams don't play it in prime time very often, it sometimes they get overhyped, which can also make you look like you come out flat, but you're overhyped. And I think you have to learn how to play in prime time. You know, the Steelers play in prime time all the time, so it was never anything for us. And Bill Cowher always practiced on Friday night, whatever time the game was scheduled for. We did not do that with Mike Tomlin, but so it's. I think you have to learn to play in prime time, especially in 2020 when it's really dead in the stadium.
Bruce Arians here on the Rich Eisen Show. Couple minutes left with the coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We have on Monday a segment here on this show, Coach, called Overreaction Monday. My colleague gives me a statement that people are maybe saying in the media, and I say if it's a reaction or not, overreaction or not. One that he threw me yesterday says, outside of Brady, the most important player on offense for the Buccaneers could be Ronald Jones. Would you agree with that assessment, Coach?
I think the running game, you know, the running game, as much as Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette, the running game would be the next most valuable, yes.
So because it provides the balance that's necessary, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
it's amazing how 1 week it's difficult for you to run at all, or you're so imbalanced because of the score, and then the next week you get 95 more yards on one single run potentially than you had all previous game.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean that's the beauty of the game. But you know, the New Orleans one was more me trying to get something jump started. We went to 2-minute offense real early to try to get something going, and it didn't work. So that run, that four or five runs, whatever it was, that's all on me.
And then before I let you go, something that I'm sure you're not thinking too much about, but we in the media, certainly I, notice these things. What's with the box that you're wearing across your chest? What's that about? Where did that one come from?
You know, that's just the normal belt.
Yeah, right.
And I have to wear that so tight it affects a nerve in my leg. And so I started wearing it on my shoulder, and I haven't had the problem with the nerve down my leg during the games.
Is that right?
It was one of our doctors said, you know, that belt's so tight that can cause that problem. It's like the superficial nerves, like you got shingles burning down your leg the whole time of the game. So I was like, let me throw it over my shoulder and see if it works. And it's a hell of a lot more comfortable.
Voila. just like that. And then you've gone face shield, and then the thing across your chest, and then all of a sudden you're more focused on the game. Essentially, is what you're saying.
Much easier. It's a lot cooler without that mask.
How about that? Okay. Well, just wanted to. These are the things I notice, and I just want to make sure that.
Yeah, a couple of people have asked me about it.
Yeah, because I know that goes around the waist usually, and not over the shoulder like that, but is for a good reason.
It's a fashion statement.
Okay, that's too. It does look good on you. I'll tell you, it does look good on you. Thanks for the call, Coach. Really appreciate it.
It's more slimming, Rich. Thanks, brother.
It's like stripes. Is that what you're saying? It's like vertical stripes.
Yeah, vertical. Yeah, or whatever. Yeah.
Whatever it is, it's working. It looks good on you, though. Thanks for the call, Coach. Let's chat down the line, and best of luck to you moving forward.
Appreciate it. Thanks. Anytime, brother.
That's Bye-bye. It. That's Tampa Bay Buccaneers head coach Bruce Arians.